I think the first thing we might as well tackle. The first thing we might as well tackle is these Biden's call on Ukraine. So Biden's move on missiles for Ukraine angers Trump allies. Says President Joe Biden's apparent green light for Ukraine. Man, let me bring this up. I'm getting out of my mojo now. So just bring this up on the bigs real quick. President Joe Biden's apparent green light for Ukraine to strike Russia with U.S.-made long-range missiles has caused consternation among some of Donald Trump's allies. Trump himself has not commented, but he won the election after promising to end the war. Several people close to him have condemned the move as dangerous escalation. See, the thing is, it's not dangerous escalation when you're pretty much a robot. This was something that was, this is one of those you have to put things in place right now because 2025 is right around the corner. Like, right around the corner. We're talking about it's 11/20 right now. It's November 20th, okay? December is not going to be long of a month. Sorry to say. I kind of don't even feel like celebrating the New Year's in a sense because it's nothing to really celebrate going into the year when you literally have aliens, robots, possibly zombies, and what is evident of World War III right now. So Biden has committed tens of billions of dollars to, I think it's Kyiv's war effort. And at the weekend, he reportedly ditched a long-standing red line on Ukraine's use of American weaponry to launch attacks deep into Russia. So the thing is, he's doing this, right? So he's doing this in spite of Putin. Understand that, right? Biden is doing this in spite of Putin. That's why they keep saying Trump's allies, right? We all know Putin and Trump is buddy-buddy. Donald Trump Jr. tweeted that the president was trying to get World War III going before his father took office. So that's pretty much what they're doing right now. Is it's pretty much how the saying goes, cut your nose to spite your face type shit. America's face in a sense this time. Biden's decision has not been formally confirmed, and it may never be. It already is in a sense. So when asked about how typical it would be for a presidential administration to take such a significant policy decision in its final months, State Department spokesman Matthew Miller said that Biden was elected to a 4-year term, not a term of 3 years and 10 months, which, of course, if you know, he didn't really get to finish out the term because Kamala had to take over on the campaign. He was getting too old. So this is where it gets a little bit, surprising when he's able to make shots and calls like that, but he wasn't able to be in the campaign as far as the next American president. You see what I'm saying? So it says we will use every day of our term to pursue policy interests that we believe are in the interests of the American people. He said, if the incoming administration wants to take a different view, that is, of course, their right to do so. No, it is not, in my opinion. There's one president at a time. It's crazy how he said it, right? There's one president at a time. That's a slap in the face to America to even say it like that. There's one president at a time. When the next president takes office, he can make his own decisions. Well, that president has already said he was very much against war, right? So Ukraine's president, Vladimir Zelensky, crazy, right? Vladimir Putin, Volodymyr Zelensky, said no such announcement was forthcoming. Missiles will speak for themselves. So Ukraine is pretty much with the shits regardless of the fact. Trump's camp is not pleased. Trump swept to victory on November 5th and is due to be back in the White House for a second term from January 20th next year. Trump has campaigned on a promise to end the U.S. involvement in wars and instead use taxpayers' money to improve American lives. He has said he will bring the Russia-Ukraine war to an end within 24 hours without saying how. If you think Trump is capable of stopping a war in 24 hours,
a bullshit, a bullshit, a bullshit, a bullshit.
There's no way. There's just no way. No way he can do that. Yeah, he signed the bill. You're absolutely right, man. He signed the bill already. Norma Dominguez, what's going on? Fury B, what's going on, homie? What's going on, my brother? Yes, very much so. Russia's about to let that chopper sing. But Ukraine ain't nothing to sneeze at. Ukraine ain't nothing to sneeze at. They ready to go too. They ready to go. But see, that's the thing. It was said about a decade and change ago that if the war ends up going against Iran, U.S. against Iran, that's when shit's really going to hit the fan. So this is like the little tit for tat back and forth. You know what I'm saying? This is the homie slap boxed in the corner before the big homies start to get up and say, all right, this shit got a little too serious. That's really what's going on right now. The American people gave a mandate on November 5th against these exact America last decisions and do not want to fund or fight foreign wars. We want to fix our own problems. It was written on Twitter. Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene had commented on Twitter. Not all of Trump's allies, including some who advised him on national security affairs during his first term, shared this view. Though they were critical of the Biden administration's approach, James Gilmore, who served as Trump's ambassador to the Organization of Security and Cooperation in Europe, told the BBC that the main issue with Biden's decision to provide Ukraine with his new capability is that it came so late in the war. My criticism of Biden is the same as every other conservative and supporter of Trump, which is that the Biden administration slow-walked this, he said. Gilmore said he did not know what the president-elect would choose to do regarding Ukraine once he entered office. I don't believe that he's a man that usually walks away. So they're already anticipating that if it does get too far out of hand, of course, Trump's pretty much not going to back down from the war, but he does want it to end, of course. So with that being said, you have to take all this information with a grain of salt because, like I said, 18 to 26 years to go to war. Yeah. It's crazy, right? It's never going to happen. The war is not going to end. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is an ongoing thing. This is an ongoing thing. And yes, the United Nations definitely does want World War III at this point because we already have studied how BlackRock pretty much invests in these type of things, right? The investors of BlackRock invest in these type of things so they can make some extra money later on, right? They pretty much bet on these things like their stock trade. So even with this happening, we still have to pay attention to the fact that from chaos, there's order, right? I mean, order out of chaos, excuse me. There's order out of chaos. It's on the back of your dollar. A new conceptuous. Show yourself. This right here. This the fuck right here. A new conceptuous. Top. Right? Means order out of chaos. So even with that happening right now, right? And you see the pyramid of the Illuminati eye. With that happening, they want to create something that's going to, make it even more of a distraction for Project Bluebeam to take place. Yes, the New World Order. That's where they're going to create the one world government. This is how they're going to do it. On top of, you see what they're playing already. And I'm going to play that video again tonight of Project Bluebeam. Part 1 of Bluebeam, just to remind people again. The last card is literally being played right now. What have you been hearing the past 2 weeks? Aliens, aliens, aliens. They found aliens in the water, the bases, underwater bases. Wait, y'all knew about this shit all this time? Y'all ain't want to tell us shit. Furthermore, give you a better idea, right? While you telling me about the underwater bases of Guadalupe Island and off the coast of Baja, California, while you telling me about that, nigga, tell me about Antarctica. I don't hear about the rest of this shit. Tell me what the fuck you got hiding in Antarctica. That's what I want to know. What you got hiding in Antarctica? What you got hiding in the big ass sheets of ice? What's under them big ass sheets of ice in Antarctica? You could try to, pony show me to death with what's happening in Las Vegas with Area 51 all you want. Y'all got that one off for about 40, 50 years. Easily. Oh, just don't go to Area 51. Like that's the only base. Follow me? They ain't the only base. And they just let y'all know that. Area 51 is not the only place we got aliens. Exactly that. America is Babylon. If you watch The Matrix, series, excuse me, you know exactly what happens to Babylon. And I don't know if we have a Neo. I could try to be, but I don't know if we have a Neo to necessarily stop the war and put a pause to things. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, now that we have our thoughts, right? As far as where we're going, let's go there. Let's now go there, okay? Let us now go there. I'm gonna bookmark that. Just had it. Oh shit, where are my bookmarks at? 1 second. Here we go. I'm like, where are my bookmarks at? So, again, Project Bluebeam is a conspiracy theory which claims that NASA is attempting to implement a new age religion with the Antichrist at its head and start a new world order via technologically simulated second coming. Pretty much meaning they're going to fake the second coming of Christ. Some people are going to see Buddha, some people are going to see Jesus Christ, so on and so forth, whatever religion you believe in. The allegations were presented in 1994 by Quebec's journalist and conspiracy theorist Serge Monast, and later published his book, Project Bluebeam NASA. Proponents of the theory allege that Monast and another unnamed journalist, who both died of heart attacks, ironically, in 1996, were in fact assassinated, and that Canadian government kidnapped Monast's daughter in an effort to dissuade him from investigating Project Bluebeam. So, I also want to show you guys a quick, in case all this sounds like mumbo jumbo, right? I'm gonna give you a quick example. A quick example, right, of Project Bluebeam. Who here is in New York City? Emil Mendez, what's going on? Who here in the chat in New York City? What happened was, what's going on? Who here in New York City? In the chat. I want to show y'all something that you, in case you did miss this. Show y'all something real quick in case some of y'all that was on Twitch, y'all know what I'm talking about right now.
That's crazy, right?
Ouais, Jules! Jules, j'arrive!
What the fuck?
So what you are looking at right now,
Ouais, Jules!
what you are looking at right now, of course, is Little Uzi Vert's promo. Okay? Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. What you are looking at right now is Little Uzi Vert's promo for his new album called Eternal It Take. Jay Porter, what's going on? And Eternal It Take 2, I should say. He's promoting this new album called Eternal It Take 2. And with that, he's using the heavy promotion of aliens, of course, right? And in the music video, he even shows that there's an alien abduction happening, if you will, in which he gets, I think inhabited by the people of the actual spaceship, and they all look like demons. Ironically, they look like demons in the video. He also, of course, is showing up the Baphomet hands. But the bigger picture is that you see the UFO in the sky, and you literally hear it. Like, you can hear that. That's not someone's camera. That's the UFO you hear. And then you actually see the laser beam coming out of it. Now think about this, right? The fact that everyone in the city right now can see that should alarm you. Because that means that they can successfully pull off the hologram now. That's literally what you are watching right now. And if this is just a regular hip-hop rapper's ad, imagine what the government actually has. Nappy Image, what's going on? Imagine what the government has now. You seeing a toy version of what they have. Think about that. You seeing a kid's toy version of what the government has they can put in that sky right now. I've been telling people for the past 10 years, our sky is an LED screen. If you don't know what HARP is, we're going to go over HARP in a second. Mind's Eye, what's going on? We're going to go over HARP in the weather manipulation machine. Prince Cherie, what's going on? The HARP machine that manipulates weather, literally, that they've been using, I think, since like the 60s, probably even before that. So if you think we have tornadoes that just make themselves out of the fucking clouds and precipitation, you got another thing coming. If you don't know that the tornado that hit Florida in some of the Carolinas, was it man-made with a devil face, with a demon face inside of it? Remember that? The demon face that was inside that hurricane on the news, and they looked at it like it was nothing? Why do you have the spirit of a demon face inside of your hurricane on the news, showing the people this? This is the thing that, this is the type of shit that you really need to pay attention to. Katie Black, what's going on? It's the things that, I understand why they banned me for 2 weeks. Because while I noticed all this shit was going on, I said, all right, it's time then. It must be time now. We are nearing the end of the year. Project 2025 is a month away. Understand this, as they just said, January 20th, he will be in office and Project 2025 will be underway, if it hasn't already. Speaking of, like I said, our sky being an LED screen, notice how they said that they were supposedly going to get rid of, daylight savings time? Or have it so it only happens once during the year or something like that? Instead of twice? I mean, they said they were going to eliminate that shit, pretty much control the sky. Imagine that, right? They telling you literally, yo, we're going to just turn shit off at this time. We're going to turn shit off at that time. Look up what's going on. You saw a huge, slowly moving object in the sky recently. Turns out it was a blimp. Yeah, it might have been. It might have been. I don't really know. It very well could have been a blimp that you saw there. But as we know, the government has been telling us for what now, the past 2 weeks now, that we got aliens here. The aliens are here. Okay? They're not coming. Yeah, they're making it dark, but a cool 4:30, 5 o'clock in some places, right? This is to let you know, again, and I mean, we've seen already the faces in the moon. I've showed you guys the faces in the moon. For those that might be new to the chat, I'll bring those up real quick again. The faces that were in the moon. Let me see. Oh, here we go. This was just recently.
Watch this. Watch this.
This is how long they've been playing with us in our face. I said, tonight I'm here to go the distance. Y'all got the right one. See that face in the moon there?
Ain't that something? Ain't that something?
It sure is. But this is how long they've been playing in our faces. Literally. This was someone just regularly catching something in the sky at between 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, of course, the flash is on, so the moon looks crazy, right? But this gentleman is literally just showing you a stone face that they have showing in the moon. Like, Project Bluebeam is well underway of cooking. It's damn near done in the oven. It's damn near done. If you have something as solid like this in the imagine if the American people were outside in broad daylight and they saw that face solid as hell. I'll give you another clip of it. I'll give you another clip of it from a different part of the world.
Today is the February 22nd, I believe.
Earlier this year.
It is
11:22 at night.
Okay, I got some light. It's February 22nd. As you see, I have not cut away. There's no extra clippings. What you get is what you see. What you get is what you see. What you get is what you see. That's it right there, son. That's that one right there, son. Yeah, son. So it's February. I don't want to show my face because I just want to put the word out there. Now that's the face, people. It's up there again.
Sherry, come look at this.
There's a face.
These are the American people seeing it.
Y'all see that? This is not an app. It's a face. Everybody's out here. Everybody's out here looking. We're coming out here to see. What, I gotta get this. Y'all see that?
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Now, hold up. Let me zoom so everybody can see it. Hey, y'all need to call somebody. Yeah. Tell them we're out here, what we're looking at. You see it, right?
Yes.
I'm just saying, there it is. That's a nice, crispy face. Hey, somebody got another phone? I don't want to be the only one recording this.
Literally, they're up there building the entire. That's going to be a body. That's not just going to be a head.
Yeah,
that's going to be a body.
You got to get this.
That's going to be a full-blown body of this.
Just out here looking. There's a dog. Even the dog's tripping.
Of course, that damn dog. That dog is terrified to death.
It's kind of a face up there. There's a face. All right. Y'all see that?
So many different people
Now
saw
that's the
that.
face, people. It's up there again.
Sherry, come look at this.
It's up there again. There's the.
I was trying to find the one that I had of the family that came outside. I forgot what the hell it was in Memphis. They pretty much came outside like, yeah, what are they building up there? It's Project Bluebeam. I'm going to show you exactly what they're building up there. Because we're going to, again, watch part 1 of Bluebeam. Because I think the American people need to know. I need to drill this in everyone's head. I need to drill it in everyone's head. This one in particular is from 14 years ago.
A government official is warning we may be on the verge of intergalactic war, saying, quote, the Bush administration has finally...
So the videos that we were just showing just now were from earlier in this year. This year. They said one of the guys had February, I think 22nd, about 11:22 at night. And he saw that shit clear as day. At 11:22, some people saw it about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. One of them I actually caught from YouTube, directly from. But yeah, these videos are from very recently. This one, particularly we watching right now, is about 14 years old. But this is how long they've been telling you what's going to happen.
Agreed to let the military build a forward base on the moon, which will put them in a better position to keep track of the comings and goings of visitors from space and to shoot at them if they so decide.
I was introduced to the late Dr. Wernher von Braun in the U.S., the father of rocketry. In my first meeting with him, during that first 3.5 hours, he said to me, Carol, you will stop the weaponization of space because there is a lie being told to everyone that the weaponization of space is now first being based upon the evil empire, the Russians. There are many enemies, he said, against whom we're going to build this space-based weapon system. The first of whom was the Russians, which was existing at that time. Then there would be terrorists. Then there would be third world countries. Now we call them rogue nations or nations of concern. Then there would be asteroids. And then he would repeat to me over and over. And the last card, the last card, the last card would be the extraterrestrial threat.
Pardon me, I don't mean to interrupt you, but doesn't this make sense? I mean, if in fact there are extraterrestrials and they're buzzing our planet, why wouldn't we want to take steps to defend ourselves from them?
The rapture is one of the most controversial topics in all of theology. Some Christians believe in it, all atheists mock it, and the New World Order may very well attempt to fake it. What would discourage Christians more than seeing New Agers, Buddhists, cult leaders, and corrupt con artist Christians raptured, while the Bible-believing faithful are, in essence, left behind? Why wouldn't the New World Order attempt to unite all the world's religions behind one deity by including them all in such an apocalyptic event? Surprisingly, the U.S. government actually admits to thinking about the use of this technology, though it denies it's followed through with such implementation. In an article entitled Bees on the Battlefield and Other U.S. Military Experiments, published by the British news agency The Guardian on June 18, 2007, it discusses strange government projects, and I quote, "Then there's the prophet hologram, the projection of the image of an ancient god over an enemy capital, whose public communications have been seized and used against it in a massive psychological operation." An Israeli cybernetics expert named Yitzhak Ayutman has even gone as far as to lobby the Arab world to allow him to project a holographic temple above the Dome of the Rock in an effort to summon whichever savior should take notice of it and actually show up. But does it even matter? Does this technology even exist? Or is it just crazy conspiracy theory? Let's take a look at the Army Research Lab, Adelphi, Maryland's progress report from November 96 through August 97. The session number ADA 3338490. The topic? A 3D holographic display using strontium barium niobate. Its abstract states, an innovative technique for generating a three-dimensional holographic display using strontium barium niobate is discussed. The resultant image is a hologram that can be viewed in real time over a wide perspective or field of view. The holographic image is free from system-induced aberrations and has a uniform high quality over the entire field of view. Interesting. Well, we've seen the chemtrails, and there's a lot of speculation about what they're being used for. Weather control and play.
Could a strange substance found by a southwest Arkansas man be part of a government test? Well, that's the question at the heart of a phenomenon called chemtrails, now getting widespread attention. Well, tonight, KSLA News 12 investigation reporter Jeff Farrell shows us the results of testing we had done about what's in our skies.
It seemed like some mornings it was just crisscrossing the whole sky. It was just like a giant checkerboard.
Bill Nichols snapped several photos of the strange clouds from his home in Stamps, Arkansas. They begin as normal contrails from a jet engine, but do not fade away like a normal contrail. Soon after, he saw particles in the air.
You know, because we'd see it drop to the ground in a haze.
Nichols then noticed the material collecting on the ground.
This is water and stuff that I collected in bowls. I had it set out in my backyard on my dad's pickup truck.
KSLA News 12 had the sample tested at a lab. The results? A high level of barium, 6.8 parts per million, more than 3 times the toxic level set by the EPA.
According to Section 5.6 of a military research paper entitled An Operational Analysis for Air Force 2025, an application of value-focused thinking to future air and space capabilities, military brainstorming as of May.
Now, you all see what year that says, right? Presented to Air Force 2025. We're here, y'all.
May 1996 was researching, constructing, yet again, another holographic projection system. This time they were looking to implement an airborne holographic projector that would display a three-dimensional visual image in a desired location removed from the display generator. The projector can be used for psychological operations and strategic perception management. It is also useful for optical deception. The picture you see here speaks for itself. This isn't depicted as a ground-based weapon, but rather one that would project a deceptive image hologram in the air. Could the chemtrails play a role in this? I'm no scientist, so I can't tell you absolutely yes or even maybe. But the chemical connection, barium, along with the military's own documents, lead me to think in that direction. But if they've got some kind of crazy projection system, that in and of itself isn't going to convince anyone of anything. Unless, of course, God is a mute and he's going to come in complete silence. Let's face it, even the most action-packed movies are...
And that's the thing. Fury Fierce, what's going on? SL, what's going on? You've already heard, that's why I demonstrated the Uzi Vert promo, right? You literally could hear that UFO. You can hear the UFO and the sound effects coming from it, even though you're in the middle of the street. And that thing is way up there, right? Who knows where that thing was being even projected from? My sound is going in and out. I could change that a little bit. I could change that a little bit, but I'm not. I wasn't on the mic necessarily. I was just coming in just now. I paused myself. I mute myself while the video is going, pretty much.
Boring without some kind of a stunning soundtrack. Well, just in time for it to be exploited in the very same way, the technology now exists to beam sound right into your head. Strategy.com reports in an article entitled Death Ray Replaced by the Voice of God that the U.S. Navy is using non-lethal systems called LRAD, or Long Range Acoustic Device. This is being used right now in the Persian Gulf. Many small fishing and cargo boats ply these waters, and it's often hard to get the attention of the crews. With LRAD, you just aim it at a member of the crew and have an interpreter speak to the sailor. It was noted that the guy on the receiving end was sometimes terrified, even as he realized it was a large American destroyer that was talking to him. This apparently gave the army guys some ideas, for there are now rumors in Iraq of a devilish American weapon that makes people believe they are hearing voices in their heads. And then there's the A&E television series called Paranormal State, which used a clever combination of a large billboard and cutting-edge technology to beam frightening ads directly into people who were walking near the show's billboard in the heart of New York City. The advertising website MediaBuyerPlanner.com writes in an article entitled "Billboard Whispers into Pedestrians' Ears for A&E's Paranormal State" that an ad for A&E's ghost-themed series Paranormal State uses technology to transmit an audio spotlight from the rooftop speakers in New York's Soho directly into the ears of passers-by. Here's a sample showcase.
So who remembers when the Paranormal State show was out? Now, only those that were living in New York City. Chill, put the Twitch link in the YouTube log. Oh, yeah. Let me do that just in case. You're absolutely right. Let me do that before I forget. You're absolutely right. Let me do that before I forget. In case they do get me. In case they do get me, y'all. In case they do get a brother. Hold on. I was doing that. I just noticed it had the I just noticed it had Witch TV. I'm like, wait, what? It's supposed to say Twitch TV. But yeah. Yeah, go to that link just in case, you know what I'm saying, anything happens, you know what I'm saying. You could definitely watch the live there, and of course they won't censor me as much. So I'll be able to do what I need to do there. That's really where I record the lives from now. Of course, we'll be showing Angels and Demons tomorrow. I'm letting y'all know that now. We're showing Angels and Demons tomorrow. Scientology will be going over on Friday. Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday? Yes, yeah. So, yeah, that's how we're going to do it. So, again, back to this. But if you do remember why they always test these things out in New York City, because New York City is a zombie land. It's ground zero. That's another thing I've been telling people that too. It's pretty much ground zero. New York City is pretty much going to be the first place where if anything happens, any big nukes or missiles, I keep trying to tell my family, please get out of New York City. They're going to hit there first. That is the beta testing for this next PSYOP, literally. One of the last times that I went there and I was walking around Manhattan with my bag, I just got off the Greyhound and I asked, there's military just walking around everywhere in Manhattan. This had to have been about 2017, I think. No, 2015, 2016, around that time. I'm looking around and I'm like, why is there so much military going on? I asked one of the officers, he said, oh, we're doing a PSYOP training. I said, PSYOP? For what? He's like, I can't tell you. Of course, he couldn't tell me, but it rang off of my head when he said, what are you doing PSYOP training for in the middle of Manhattan? What's supposed to happen here? Exactly. All the disaster movies happen in fucking New York. And New York has yet to have a disaster besides 9/11. We've yet to have a huge one besides 9/11. But something tells me that that's going to be the next place they hit. Yeah, checking ID in the subway and doing retina scans on everybody. And I'm like, what are y'all preparing for here? And I thought about it. I'm like, this is going to be ground zero. This is going to be ground zero again. They are definitely going to do something here soon. Something big is going to hit here in New York City. So I said, I'm not going back. Not going back. I already know something is going to happen. And like I said, I implore my family to get out of there as fast as they can. It's so many things that point toward it. All the end of the world movies, majority of them happen in the city. Majority of them, they start with New York City. And as you saw, who did Uzi Vert decide to? Uzi Vert's from Philly. I'll say it again. Lil Uzi Vert's from Philly. Okay? He could have did that over Philadelphia. But what did he do it over? New York City, Manhattan. A UFO went over New York City, Manhattan, and you could hear it. You can hear it like it was beaming into your head. The sound was beaming into your head.
How this concentrated sonic beam works.
If you got surround sound right now, it's probably fucking with your ears. DJ Bear Gang, what's going on? Karina, what's going on? Alfonso, what's going on? I'm good. I'm good, gang. I'm good, my brother. I'm good. Already taken care of, my brother. Already taken care of. Shout out to the homie DJ Bear Gang. Once again, just want to real quick. I don't want to go off of too off topic, of course, but hold on. Well, I'm not gonna mess with it then. Not too sure what's going on with that, but let me make sure this is still good. Okay, it was just that then. All right. Anywho.
There are literally dozens of patents dealing with ways of beaming sonic transmissions directly into people's minds. This was once called telepathy. Today it's just modern day technology and advertising. Yes, I understand this sounds absolutely bizarre. Where's the proof? Where is it? We've recently seen Al Gore and Prince Charles appear in holographic form. But do we actually know of any such encounter we can attribute
You hear it?
Holographic technology?
You say you're hearing every other word, Zane? Maybe it is YouTube. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it is YouTube. It might be that. It might be that. Like I said, I'm trying to keep myself mute while this goes, though.
As to having been used as part of a supernatural psyop. I believe we do.
But yeah, I was keeping myself mute while the video was actually going. But yeah, again, they have the technology now to make sure that the sound literally goes into your head, directly into your head. I'm gonna try not to move too much off the mic too. I'm gonna stay right in front of the mic here so you guys can hear me good too. Let me also do that too. I am gonna get a then these next couple of days you're gonna see definitely some soundproof background now that I'm out here. Again, and I want to also shout out to Larry Fields, Mobile Barber. Shout out to Larry Fields that got me right. That's what I'm saying. They got me with the fresh cut right now. Best mobile barber in the land. Comes to you in Chicago, Illinois, and if you're in the Illinois area, not Chicago, if you're just in the Illinois area in St. Louis, he'll definitely take care of you. Yeah, I'm gonna speak directly into the joint, and I'm gonna try to speak a little bit louder too. So, hopefully it doesn't go in and out like that. I hope it's good. So yeah, I know it's YouTube. I know it's got to be YouTube. It's got to be, because I know they're the only place that's gonna fuck with my audio as well as my internet. So that's the thing with them. Don't Look Up was also set in New York. See, that's the thing. If anything happens right now, the first place they're going to hit is New York City for sure. That is for sure. But as I said before, we are discussing the main steps of Project Bluebeam. Now, before this continues, I would like to go through the steps of Project Bluebeam real quick. We're going to go through the actual steps of Bluebeam just so everybody is, you know what I'm saying, on the same page here. So, step one. Step one requires the breakdown of all archaeological knowledge. This will apparently be accomplished by faking earthquakes at precise locations around the planet. Fake new discoveries at these locations will finally explain to all people the era of all fundamental religious doctrines, specifically Christian and Muslim doctrines. Notice how they focus on those two right there, right? Crazy thing is, and this is nothing against the Muslim community, right? The crazy thing is, Ali Carter was just literally talking about there was a Muslim community, or maybe they were faking as a Muslim community, and they were pretty much, at the heart in that particular city of human trafficking, right? The Christian, if you're a Christian, again, I mean no offense to you, if you're a Christian, of course, so. In Angels and Demons, they literally go through the breakdown of how Christianity was faked to become a manipulation of religion and a form of mind control for the American people back in the day. So this makes some degree of sense. If you want to thoroughly usurp a current way of thinking, you need to completely discredit and destroy it before putting forward your own. However, religious belief is notoriously resilient to things like facts. The Shroud of Turin is a famous example that is still believed by many to be genuine shroud of Jesus, as opposed to the medieval forgery that it has been conclusively shown to be. Prayer studies, too, show how difficult it is to shift religious conviction with mere observational fact. Indeed, many theologians avoid making falsifiable claims or place belief somewhere specifically beyond observation to aid this. So what finds could possibly fundamentally destroy both Christianity and Islam? So they're saying, what artifact could pretty much confuse everyone and say, what's going on? Why is this not in place here? So almost overnight and universally all over the globe, probably nothing yet. But that is only step one of an increasingly ludicrous set of events that Project Bluebeam predicts will occur. So they're saying that there's going to be a certain artifact that pretty much makes everyone be in question of whether or not Christianity and Islam is real. That's going to be the first step of this. Step two involves, I don't know why they have that crossed out. Step two involves a apparition of a Masonic figure who calls himself Abel and is actually a human-made deity. I don't know why that's, like I said, I don't know why that's crossed out right there, but that's pretty much what they're going to do. They're going to hold up an apparition or a hologram of a Masonic figure, whichever one you choose to see, or the religion that you believe in, that's what you're going to see. It's going to be a gigantic space show where in three-dimensional holographic laser projections, it's not going to be 3D. This is going to be augmented reality. If you're not familiar with augmented reality, I will break that down for you tonight. Trust me. We are going to get all of augmented reality familiar this evening, just so people are not fooled, just so my audience is not fooled when they see this bullshit. Holographic laser projections will be beamed all over the planet. Again, holographic laser projections will be beamed all over the planet. And this is where Bluebeam really takes off. The projections will take the shape of whatever deity is most predominant and will speak in all languages. Again, the projections will take the shape of whatever deity is most predominant and will speak in all languages. You know what's a good example of that? Do you guys remember the Ghostbusters movie, the first one? Vimont 2 Gene? I'll look that up in a second. If you guys remember the first Ghostbusters movie, they literally had an example of that to where I think it was Ray. Ray fucked up when they asked him, "Yo, what choose the form of your destroyer?" And everybody was like, All right, well, that's a trick question. Just everybody free your thoughts and don't think of nothing. And then all of a sudden it said, destroyer chosen. And everybody's like, wait a minute, we didn't think of nothing. And everybody looked at Ray and he was like, I'm sorry, I started the State Puff Marshmallow Man. This is the first thing that popped into his head was the State Puff Marshmallow Man. And what happened? A big-ass State Puff Marshmallow Man just started running through the goddamn city. Just destroying shit, right? That's pretty much a depiction of Shiva. Shiva the Destroyer. If you guys are familiar with the deity Shiva the Destroyer, okay? I'm going to also show you, before, so we don't get too far off topic here, because I did show Shiva the Destroyer before. This god here. This is Shiva the Destroyer. So I'm pretty sure some of you have seen this, or this, or even this, right? This is the Shiva statue. Hindu god Shiva, the destroyer and creator. Okay? Now, Shiva is the Hindu god of destruction and one of the three gods in the Hindu triumvirate, along with Brahma, the creator, and Vishnu, the preserver. Shiva's role is to destroy the universe in order to recreate it. Again, Shiva's role is to destroy the universe in order to recreate it. Now, reason why we're going to watch Angels and Demons tomorrow is because we also went over on Twitch this big boy here, the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider, and the world's most powerful particle accelerator, and is located underground in where? Geneva, Switzerland. Now, here's the thing about why I'm showing you that. In front of that building called CERN, where that Large Hadron Collider is, the Lord Shiva statue. Now, why do they have Shiva the Destroyer as a statue in Switzerland? We're not going off the rails of Project Bluebeam. Trust me when I tell you, this is very much connected. CERN is a part of Project Bluebeam, whether people know it or not. You know why? Because remember when I just said that they're going to find an artifact that pretty much makes it so Christianity and Islam is somewhat fictitious? The whole goal of CERN is to find the God particle. Ladies and gentlemen, they found the God particle in 2012. They just haven't told y'all yet. On July 4, 2012, scientists announced the discovery of the Higgs boson, also known as the God particle, at the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland. The discovery was a scientific landmark that advanced our understanding of the universe's subatomic particles and the forces that bind them together. Basically, they went on the hunt for the fucking Big Bang Theory itself and found it. Found the actual atom that made the fucking Big Bang Theory. When everyone said, what? God made the Big Bang Theory, right? They found the God particle. So again, CERN is very much part of what's going on. Where else have you seen CERN? I'm going to give you a quick other example so you're saying, wait, but I've never even seen CERN before. Let me show you where you've seen CERN before without me bringing up any copyrights, right? Remember that Spider-Man movie, Return of the Spider-Verse? The design of the Hadron Collider in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was inspired by the real-life CMS experiment at the CERN Large Hadron Collider. Now, you guys saw what happened in the movie, right? That shit blew a hole into the entire universe, didn't it? Yes, Exactly, Katie Blapp. They are looking for Jesus DNA. They are looking for Jesus DNA. Now, I didn't see that, Emil Mendez. You say you saw a video of Lucifer being outcasted from heaven and Geneva was the location. Now, see, that's interesting enough right there. Yes, look up. They're going to fake the rapture. That's part of step 2. I should say 3. They're going to fake the rapture. We're actually going to go into that next now. So now that we have clear understanding of how step 1 is going to take place, it's pretty much them finding everything with CERN. Okay, so step 2, of course, is the representation of the deity with the large laser projections that will be beamed all over the planet. And this is where Blue Beam really takes off. The projections will take the shape of whatever deity is most predominant and will speak in all languages. At the end of this light show, the gods will all emerge into one god, the Antichrist. Now, I know some of you guys are looking like ramen noodles with an eye, right? With 2 eyes and shit, right? But I also want you to take notice to the picture of here. It's man pretty much accepting its new God. It's basically what you are seeing right now. So, again, at the end of this light show, the gods will all emerge into one God. So like I said, you're going to see Buddha over here, Jesus over here, Allah over here. Whatever you want to see you or believe in is what you will see mentally. This is a rather baffling plan because the crazy thing is, right? What if I don't believe necessarily in any of this and I'm already being able to see through it and I just see that goop thing right there? But the rest of the world sees Jesus Christ, Buddha, Islam, whatever you want to see. But I see that. Well, everyone else does not. That is a rather baffling plan, and it seems to assume that the people will think this is actually their God, rather than the more natural 21st century assumption that it is a particularly opaque Coca-Cola advertisement. Notice how they say that, right? Because they think everyone thinks of God as this guy in a white robe and beard and white hair, similar to Santa Claus, right? Evidence commonly advanced for this is a supposed plan to project the face of Allah, despite its contradiction with Muslim beliefs of God uniqueness. Over Baghdad in 1991, to tell the Iraqis to overthrow Saddam Hussein, someone somewhere must have thought that those primitive, ignorant, non-Western savages would have had television or advertising and would never guess it was being done with mirrors. In general, pretty much anything that either involves light, A, involves light, or B, has been seen in the sky, has been put forward as evidence that Project Bluebeam is real. So every bit of thing that they faked in front of you, right? Say, for example, and I don't want to offend anybody here when I say this, 9/11. When I've already said this before about the C4 that hit the building, okay? They lit off demolition at the building. They showed you on the news. The lady said, look at that building that fell over there. And the building hadn't even fucking fell yet for 3 minutes until the demolition finally went off on it. They've been playing with us for the longest with different psyops. For the longest. And such things are tests of the technology. Namely, unidentified flying objects. Existing display technology such as 3D projection, I'm going to stop calling it 3D projection, augmented reality mapping, and holograms are put forward as foreshadowing the great light show in the sky. This stage will apparently be accomplished with the aid of a Soviet computer that will be fed with the minute physiopsychological particulars based on their studies of the anatomy and electromechanical composition of the human body and the studies of the electrical, chemical, and biological properties of the human brain. They've already done this pretty much. They've already done this right here. They already know how we psychologically think through social media. Think about that. That beta test has been done on us through our emails and social media alone. Based upon what we like, we heart, we care, we go sad, we go mad, we laugh at. All of that is beta testing for pretty much learning and surveying what the human does. Each and every one of you have a person attached to you that pretty much watches what you do day to day and writes down, or should I say types down automatically now, ChatGPT probably just audio records everything that you're doing and saying, whatever. So pretty much a whole book library on you, just based on your email and your social security number. Every human has been allocated a unique radio wavelength. The computers are also capable of inducing suicidal thoughts. The Soviets are not where the New World Order people. Why NASA would use a Soviet computer when the USSR had to import or copy much of its computer technology from the West, it's not detailed. The second part of step two. Wouldn't that be step 3? Nope. Because step 2 is pretty large. It happens to be when the holograms result in the dissolution of social and religious order. So pretty much it's going to be a huge speech also, right? That big face in the sky that you saw is pretty much going to be one of the replicas that you're going to see of your religious belief. It's going to have a huge speech that coincides with you, as if you're in church, setting loose millions of programmed religious fanatics through demonic possession on a scale never witnessed before. The United Nations plans to use Beethoven's Ode to Joy as the anthem for the introduction of the New Age one world religion. I'm already playing music, so, right? I'm already playing music. Why not? Ludwig van Beethoven, Ode to and Die, Ode to Joy. I wish they had like a TikTok or something for it, but I probably would get away better with a TikTok. Wouldn't I? Screw it. Screw it all. Screw it. I'll do it this way. It's fine. I ain't gonna be with a second. So if you guys want to look up Beethoven Ode to Joy, I implore you to look that up and get familiar with it. Get very familiar with it in your heads. Very familiar with it, okay? Because they want that to be the anthem for the introduction of the New Age one world religion. Again, the United Nations plans to use Beethoven's Ode to Joy as the anthem of the introduction of the New Age one world religion. There is relatively little to debunk in this. The most widely remembered section of the Project Bluebeam conspiracy, as the idea is so infeasible, citing actual existing communication technology, is odd if the point is for the end product to appear magical, rather than just as cheap laser projections onto clouds. this hasn't stopped some very strange conspiracy theories about such things popping up. Indeed, the notion of gods being projected into the sky was floated in 1991 by conspiracy theorist Betty J. Mills in U.S. General. In U.S. General, and CIA shyster extraordinaire Edward Lansdale actually floated a plan to fake a second coming for Cuba to get rid of Castro. So that would explain that giant, was that in Brazil? That giant Jesus Christ statue? That would explain why they even had something like that made. Because that's pretty much their ideal way of, I should say, the ideal model that they would be using, right, for something like that. Step 3 now. Step 3 is telepathic electronic two-way communication. Now, that pretty much is what we were just talking about with the frequencies that's going to be beamed inside your head. So that you don't necessarily hear a loudspeaker. It's not going to be like it's going to be a speaker where you hear the feedback and shit. No, it's going to feel like there's a motherfucker literally talking in your head. Like how you had the whisper. If you had surround sound just now when you heard that, who's that? Somebody there. It's not your imagination. If you had speakers on just now, like surround sound speakers, that shit was fucking with you just now. Because it literally was going from right to left to back here to back there. It was going all over the place in different waves to pretty much fuck with your sound. Or fuck with the sound that you're hearing in your head. It involves making people think that their God is speaking to them through telepathy, projected into the head of each person individually using extreme low frequency radio waves. Atheists will presumably hear in absence of Richard Dawkins. That's funny. The book goes to some lengths to describe how this would be feasible, including a claim that ELF, pretty much the electronic low frequency thought projection, caused the depressive illness of Michael Dukakis' wife, Kitty. That's crazy right there. So pretty much they use MK Ultra and the extreme low frequency thought projection that it caused him to have caused the depressive illness of Kitty. That's crazy right there. Step 4 has 3 parts. Making humanity think an alien invasion is about to occur in every major city. I repeat that last part right there. Step 4 is where shit hits the fan. Making humanity think an alien invasion is about to occur in every major city. What did we just talk about? Guess who's first on the list as a major city? The Big Apple. Making the Christians think that the rapture is about to happen. A mixture of electronic and supernatural forces, allowing the supernatural forces to travel through fiber optics, coax power, and telephone lines to penetrate all electronic equipment and appliances that will, by then, get this, all have a special microchip installed. So think about all your remember I talked about before, all your Alexas, all your Siris, and whatever else you got, speaker wise as AI or Bluetooth. Anything that you got Bluetooth is going to go haywire. Anything that you got fiber gonna go haywire. Your cable line gonna go haywire. Everything that you got plugged up gonna go crazy. Just to fuck with you. It's gonna look like a Ghostbusters movie all over again. That's pretty much what they're telling you right now. It's gonna look like a big ass Ghostbusters movie spectacle. Telephone lines to penetrate all electrical equipment and appliances that will be by then all have a special microchip installed. Then chaos will break out, and the people will finally be willing, perhaps even desperate, to accept the New World Order. Again, order out of chaos, a nunc conceptuus. I ain't preaching to the choir. I ain't preaching to the choir. I ain't preaching to the choir at all. I don't know why I can't spell for some reason. The meaning of a nunc conceptuus in Illuminati. He favors or has favored. Order out of chaos, y'all. Order out of chaos. And it will make us accept the New World Order. The techniques used in the fourth step is exactly the same used in the past in the USSR, so to force the people to accept communism. So this is pretty much how they got Russia to accept communism. A device has apparently already been perfected that will lift enormous numbers of people, as in a rapture. UFO abductions are tests of this device. So you know how they've been telling us that they got the UFOs and they have the technology to pretty much do what they want to do with it? They don't understand it, but they have the technology to do it. Project Bluebeam proponents believe psychological preparations have already been made. B.l.a.c, having claimed that 2001: A Space Odyssey, Star Wars, and the Star Trek series all involve an invasion from space and all nations coming together. The first two, don't the third, is peaceful contact. In the Jurassic Park propagandizes evolution in order to make people think God's words are lies. The New World Order according to B.l.a.c. The book detailed the theory in 1994 lecture. B.l.a.c. detailed what would happen afterward. All people will be required to take an oath to Lucifer, as in the form of that RFID chip. You're going to be all microchipped. Some of you might take it, some of you might not. It just is what it is. Some of you are going to take it, some of you not. Some of you are going to want to save your families, some of you are going to think for self and know better. All people will be required to take an oath to Lucifer with a ritual initiation to enter the New World Order. Resistors will be categorized as follows. 1. Christian children will be kept for human sacrifice or sexual slaves. That's already going on with human trafficking. Is it not? I'll repeat that first one again in case you didn't hear. Christian children will be kept for human sacrifice or sexual slaves. That's going on already with Pizzagate and human trafficking. Prisoners to be used in medical experiments, already happening. Already happening in asylums. Prisoners to be used as living organ banks, already happening. Hell, someplace, somewhere, voluntarily. Healthy workers in slave labor camps. If they are healthy by then, right? Uncertain prisoners in the International Re-Education Center, thence to repent on television and learn to glorify the New World Order. So if you didn't get that fifth one, right? Uncertain prisoners in the International Re-Education Center. They're going to reprogram people that pretty much don't even understand English into what they want them to believe, right? Thence to repent on television and learn to glorify the New World Order. The International Execution Center. That's all it says for number 6. The International Execution Center. You do with that information what you will. An as yet unknown 7th classification. I can already tell you what that 7th classification is. Me. All of us that are not of the religious belief, but we pretty much have our third eyes open already. So being that my name is Yule, I can already see what might happen with me. I can already see what might happen with me. Oh, this is, you can just Google Project Bluebeam. This is on Wiki. This is right there in the Wiki. It's been there for ages. This has been there for ages. So let's move along to part 2 of what Bluebeam gonna do.
There are literally dozens of patents dealing with ways of beaming sonic transmissions directly into people's minds. This was once called telepathy. Today it's just modern day technology and advertising. Yes, I understand this sounds absolutely bizarre. Where's the proof? Where is it? We've recently seen Al Gore and Prince Charles appear in holographic form, but do we actually know of any such encounter we can attribute holographic technology as to having been used as part of a supernatural psyop? I believe we do. It's just a matter of looking at information. ABC News by ex-CIA spy John Kiradiv. The topic was waterboarding. Kiradiv came out in an un-CIA-like fashion and proclaimed that waterboarding is torture. On the ABC News website, in an article entitled "Coming in from the Cold, CIA Spy Calls Waterboarding Necessary but Torture," the ex-spy described the effectiveness of waterboarding on captured al-Qaeda member Abu Zubaydah, and I quote, John Kiradiv, now retired, said the technique broke Zubaydah in less than 35 seconds. The next day, he told his interrogator that Allah had visited him in his cell during the night and told him to cooperate. Now, hold it for just 1 second. We believe this man is telling us the truth because he's playing nice and claiming that waterboarding is a bad thing. But look at what he just said. He's implying that when someone is tortured, they just have to say uncle, and then we stop. You would think that if Zubaydah was cracked in 35 seconds, that would mean he was spilling the beans only seconds after that. As in, okay, fine, I'll talk, please, no more. Not, oh my goodness, I'm glad you stopped. I didn't like that very much. I guess I'll go get some sleep, and I'll think about maybe telling you something tomorrow. And if we are to believe that it was indeed the waterboarding that broke him, then why would he bother telling his interpreter that Allah had visited him in his cell during the night and told him to cooperate? His interrogator knew he was waterboarded. He wasn't going to save any face with his interrogator. Remember, they broke him the day before, and they didn't get any information out of a quote-unquote broken man until the next day after he claimed Allah came to him in his cell and told him to cooperate. I'm not making this up. Watch for yourself. Pay attention to the body language. You decide for yourself if this makes any logical sense.
And that was one of the techniques?
Waterboarding was one of the techniques, yes.
And was it used on Zubaydah?
It was.
And was it successful?
It was.
What happened as a result of that?
He resisted. He was able to withstand the waterboarding for quite some time, and by that I mean probably 30, 35 seconds.
That's quite some time.
Which was quite some time. And a short time afterwards, in the next day or so, he told his interrogator that Allah had visited him in his cell during the night and told him to cooperate because his cooperation would make it easier on the other brothers who had been captured. And from that day on, he answered every question just like I'm sitting here speaking to you.
In a willing way?
In a willing way.
So in your view...
And after watching that, I can only come to one conclusion. This man was not waterboarded. If he was waterboarded, he was not broken during the waterboarding. He was broken through a psyop. If he was broken from the torture, he would have spilled the information right then and there. I think what you're seeing here is an experimental use of cutting-edge holographic technology to see if people will buy it, to see if it's believable. And just in case I'm right, I have to do what I'm
an auditor with Los
to do.
Angeles Police Department.
In the Bible, Jesus was very clear about what his return would be like. In Matthew 24, his disciples asked him point blank, what is the end of the world going to be like? And starting in verse 4, Jesus answered them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. So he warns us, don't be fooled. And then again in verses 23 through 26, we read, then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets.
That's right. So, give you a quick example of augmented reality, if you haven't already seen. Quick example of augmented reality, right? This is an example of augmented reality. Pretty much he has the glasses on and he would pretty much see that even though it's not actually there. This is Pokemon Go, was it HoloLens? This is the demo for it. And pretty much this is a cute version, I guess you would say, of Project Bluebeam, right? You pretty much are going to be seeing things that are not necessarily there because they are holographic projections. But imagine when you're able to actually touch these holographic projections. The fact that you can now touch these holographic projections makes it able for the holographic projection to possibly touch you and make you feel like you're being touched by something that is not actually there. They can put a hologram around an exoskeleton. They can use you or I as an exoskeleton, for example, right? They can put us in a soldier suit that pretty much looks like a mocap suit. Imagine you seeing an alien right in front of you, right? And you think it's an actual alien, but it's actually a guy in a mocap suit. The guy in that mocap suit pretty much looks like an alien to you because they're using the augmented reality projection. The augmented reality projection is pretty much going to make you believe that something is there that is not actually there. So augmented reality is a relatively new technology that, along with virtual reality VR, is quickly changing the world in various areas, including learning, entertainment, product presentation, and engagement with others. AR and VR fall under the umbrella of extended reality. Get it? Extended reality. So beyond what you and I are used to looking at. XR, which had a market value of $106 billion in 2023 alone, with experts anticipating it to grow to $472 billion by 2028. The substantial expected increase over the course of just 5 years indicates the rate at which AR is expanded and becoming a part of the everyday life, with job opportunities growing. AR and VR careers are becoming popular as brands use AR to showcase and market their products. Augmented reality technology integrates graphics, images, audio, and text into the physical world. It adds value to three-dimensional world by allowing you to see how something may look, smell, feel, or even sound, without it being physically held or seen. Again, without it being physically held or seen. Companies may use augmented reality for entertainment, education, or marketing products. Matter of fact, did add in China. Let's just try that, right? Let's just see what they have here for an augmented reality ad in China that they might have. Oh. Augmented reality, let me see. So I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the building. Oh, here we go. 3D billboards. This is an example of augmented reality. Where it looks damn near real almost. Almost looks like it's coming at you. Now, like I said, we just saw, for example, we just literally saw an example with Lil Uzi Vert and how he did, right? We saw the UFO pretty much. That's augmented reality, ladies and gentlemen. That is an upgrade of augmented reality. Now, I can't show it because, of course, they'll give me copyright again, but I will show you a picture of someone that is perfect for what I'm talking about. This was the very first time that they showed you Project Bluebeam right in your face. And I shit you not, I pissed myself almost. Remember the Tupac hologram in Coachella? And how real it looked? And everyone could see it and hear it? That was their first time pretty much playing with Project Bluebeam right in your face with entertainment. And no one blinked an eye today. No one thought about anything. No one thought about anything. But like I said, I damn near pissed myself. This was them telling us right then and there, like, hey, man. It's about to hit the fan. Shit's about to hit the fan. So, what else do we need to discuss here? Chemtrails, how they work. Chemtrails, pretty much what's going to be laying. It's what's going to be laying down the LED screen in the sky for us, right? So chemtrails, according to various kooks, are a currently ongoing mass aerial dispersal of unknown chemicals by the powers that be, they say. Excuse me. For some vague but definitely nefarious purpose. This is one of the youngest among the more established conspiracy theories, having been first discussed at least as early as 1996 and is sadly still going strong. Despite the complete lack of knowledge of basic meteorology of evidence of compelling motive or indeed of basic plausibility. Such conspiracy movement has been stimulated in recent times by the growing presence of condensation trails from commercial and military jet planes. However, this is easily explained by the growing number of flights and also by the fact that jet engines are increasingly more efficient over the years, which translates directly in cooler exhaust gas and thus in more frequent contrail formation. See an explanation of it in the body of the text. Of course, they show it right here. Pretty well, yeah. Influence of propulsion, efficiency on contrail formation for a comparison of new and old aircraft performance on this respect. Now, I'm gonna just do this, right? Let me just do this for you. Let me do this for you.
He said something that really hit home about this phenomena of chemtrails. And, you know, when I was a kid, I used to see these trails in the sky all the time. And so, oh, that's cool. A jet just went over. And then you started to see a whole bunch of them. And the next thing you know, everybody in your neighborhood was fighting and arguing, and you didn't know why. Okay? And you really didn't know why. I mean, everybody was fighting.
Interesting, right? You didn't know why everybody was fighting. But it was pretty much because those chemtrails were being used to change the feelings and mind of the human being. That's what the chemtrails are doing. The chemtrails are pretty much causing everyone in his neighborhood to argue and have a certain feeling of each other. Now, you heard that one of the steps of this is to cause Daily Bread, what's going on? Is to cause mass deception and trigger certain feelings of people, right? Trigger certain angers of people, right? That's one of the parts of Project Bluebeam. It's one of the forms of control that they're going to use for Bluebeam. So take heed to that. If you are suddenly having a change of mind and feeling into a bad mood out of nowhere, it probably is not because it's out of nowhere. It's because they are doing it to you. Take heed to that. It's because they are doing it to you. It's not because you are having a suddenly bad day. It's because they are doing it to you. Understand that, okay? So let's move forward.
He said something that really hit.
They call this the Noahian spiral. Was a spectacular aerial phenomenon seen in the sky from parts of Norway and Sweden on the 9th of December. Now, notice the numbers too, right? 12/9/2009. Notice the threes, if you will. It was most probably caused by a test launch of a Russian ICBM that failed spectacularly, or did it? The term Noahian spiral has been adopted to refer to any real image which looks so spectacular that it is assumed to be photoshopped, computer generated, or faked in some fashion. They're talking about this when the Noahian spiral happened in the sky. But as you can see here, does it not look like there's a projection coming from somewhere? Does it not look like there's a projection coming from somewhere? Look closely to this right here. Look closely. You see the beam of light right here. To the far right, on the bottom. You see the beam of light. Does that not look like there is a projection going into the sky? Again, ladies and gentlemen, they have been playing with this type of technology for quite some time in front of us. We have to take heed to it. We must take heed to it. We must take heed to this. Let's see. I know I had something else. Just making sure I cover everything on the itinerary as far as Bluebeam going. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I had covered a good portion of what we're going to be. Like I said, I'm going to be drilling this information into y'all brains and leading up to. Let me get into this chat here real quick. So, aliens found in the ocean. However, you niggas better report to work on time. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That reminds me right there. That reminds me, that reminds me, that reminds me. It reminds me. It reminds me. Where is it? Where's my video at? Was it 107? I did it. Trying to find my interview. Where's my UFO lawyer? Aha.
Now, upon the issuance of that statement by Jose Gabriel Funes, who was the director of the Pontifical Observatory at the time, Jesuit priest, well, I contacted him and flew to see him.
In 07.
And that's right. And I said, look, we need to talk.
We
need to talk about this now. And he said, look, let's be really clear. He said, we're not talking here about the discovery of some single cell life form under some frozen sea on some distant moon in some far off galaxy. He said, we're talking about another highly intelligent, highly technologically developed, but distinctly non-human species right here in our own Milky Way galaxy. That's what he said. And so I've known since that time that the time has arrived, for this serious conversation among the laity. And I've been trying to figure out how to get Francis, I stay over at Doma when I'm in Rome, where Francis lives. He doesn't live in the Vatican. He won't live there for safety's sake.
Wait, he doesn't?
No, he does not. He lives in the Doma, which is a separate part.
Can we look that up?
It's on the Vatican grounds, but it's not.
Oh, so it's on the grounds.
It's not in the papal apartments.
Okay. I used to live a quarter mile from the Vatican.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
So, and so that's where he was in the Doma. And so the bottom line is that I've been there. I've talked with Johann X, who's the head of the archives, to try to talk him into letting us see these documents. Again, they still have not agreed to do that. But the bottom line is the church knows that it has to start mobilizing right away to start preparing people for what's getting ready to come. And that's happening now. There's huge activities going on now. Lots more. They deployed an entire carrier group down off.
A carrier group?
Yeah. The Nimitz carrier group. They deployed it down off the Baja to monitor the site down there. There's an underwater base for sure, right off Guadalupe Island, down underneath the sea.
Can we Google Guadalupe Island so we can see that?
Yeah, there's a specific spot.
You said this has to do with the church?
No, what I'm saying is that there are things happening now. There's such rapid developments that are going on now that they now know that there is this location right off Guadalupe Island between there and Baja.
That island right there on the screen.
Which one is Guadalupe?
Well, I see we just lost the screen.
Is Guadalupe Island? Yeah, down there's Baja. One of those. It's right there. It's which one is Guadalupe?
The little thing right there. Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, that would be it.
Got it.
Okay, so is that Guadalupe
Yep,
Island? Yeah, that's the one.
Like Guadalupe.
Right off that island, right there, beneath the sea. They deployed the entire the Nimitz carrier.
That's David
group.
Fravers.
Yep.
Right.
And they monitored over 100 sightings of UFOs coming and going down into the ocean right there and going down to the bottom of the ocean. And they were monitored by the submarines. That's right, monitored by the submarines underneath the water coming and going, so that there's virtually certainly a base there. And that there's another base outside of Sedona, Arizona, over by there's a place called the Secret Mountain Wilderness over there. That's just totally desolate area. There's a base there where where the craft are, and so there's a number of them high in the mountains and remote areas of the planet, and that they're here now, and that they're extraordinarily distressed. You can tell about the state of affairs right now.
Of humanity.
Yes.
Do you think that Do you think that some of them possibly could be something else? And to be specific on that, I'm not saying all of them,
Yeah.
but that some of them could be some form of advanced 40 to 60 years ahead DARPA weaponry or something like that that we aren't aware of. Meaning, like this one outside Guadalupe, if they're going into the water right there, so close to this island where we have carrier ships and stuff like that, on something like that, more than like, say, a Sedona, Arizona example, I more think something like this at Guadalupe could involve weaponry as opposed to actual alien UFOs, if you will. You think that's possible?
No, well, there should phrase it that way. Is it conceivable? There's a lot of things that are conceivable, but that's not how you really conduct an investigation. You know, what you do is you work from probability projections, and you work out from that. That it's quite clear to me that facility off Guadalupe is in fact a base, an extraterrestrial base. You know, because the way that the carrier group has been acting, you know, that they dig in and monitor that thing and monitor it under the water and keep track of it and keep records of what's going on. You know, that would not be being done with one of our own weapon systems. You know, but the one in Sedona, on the other hand, there's U.S. military personnel all around that place, and there's helicopters. They're Apache helicopters and others that are disposed, and they accompany the coming and going of these big triangles that fly in and out of there. And that they're witnesses that we've interviewed that say that there are tall whites or tall grays there, along with what they call the mantis people.
Mantis people.
The mantis people are huge, 7 feet tall, extraordinarily skinny, thin, kind of bowed over people. They remind people of praying mantises. This particular species,
like Sean Bradley.
No, not that bad. No, some people refer to these people as insectoids.
Insectoids.
Yeah, it's kind of a pejorative of them, but they remind people of praying mantises, and whenever they're seen with tall grays or the short grays or the reptilians at all, they seem to be in charge. They're constantly giving telepathic commands of how do they deploy, et cetera. And
when have they been seen?
That they've been seen there in that Sedona base.
Yeah, but
for example. Let's see here. We're in 2024 now. It was probably 2018 or so,
And
2017. That Melinda Leslie is one of the witnesses who has seen them.
Who's she?
She's a person who's an abductee that was taken into custody by them in a MyLabs operation.
A MyLabs operation.
It was a military operation. You know, masking as an abduction. You know, Stephen Greer has talked about that. It's one of the things that Stephen and I agree upon, that there are such things, that there have been efforts undertaken by United States military personnel to mimic abduction, UFO abductions.
Okay, so this was a mimicked abduction.
That's right.
That she was abducted
That's right.
for.
That's right. And she was taken to that base.
What base?
The base outside of Sedona. The one by the secret mountain wilderness.
That's
area.
not S4.
No. That's in Nevada.
Okay.
That's S4 in the Area 51. S4 is about 11 miles away from Area 51, but they're both in Nevada.
So she's taken to this base by Sedona.
And what they're doing is they were doing experiments trying to discern people's psychic abilities. That there's a major program that's going on in the United States military, because their pilots were unable to fly these things because they're flown by telepathy. The craft are flown by telepathy.
Yeah.
And the pilots, the kind of people that are trained to be pilots, are not telepathically trained. You know, they're extraordinarily linear, very, very intense, scientific, logical, positivist type folks, in that they aren't able to communicate with the craft. And so that there's been a whole program to try to recruit people, to try to find out people who are psychic, to see whether they can actually be involved in helping to run these craft, because the craft are run psychically by the ETs. And so unless they have ET people working with them, which it appears they do at the Sedona base, that the ET people are the ones that actually pilot the craft, the large craft, but that they're given U.S. military escorts with F-18s and the major helicopter gunships actually protect them when they're flying. Some of these.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, so she allegedly saw them in 2017, 2018 when she was taken to the space, and they were down there and they were being interrogated.
They were being experimented with. They were asked to do these experiments of psychic experiments.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what they were doing. And there's lots of information about that now, about this weird program that they've got going of trying to recruit people that they think are psychic because their normally trained pilots are not able to fly these things.
It's almost like a Men in Black kind of thing, like when we see in the movie where they have the base and they go in there and all the aliens are chilling and stuff. That's effectively a similar parallel to what's being described.
There's lots of weird science fiction movies all over the place, picking up little pieces of this stuff. That what we do is that I tend not to go to those kind of movies, but because I'm kind of staying focused on.
You're too wired in, Danny.
Right. I'm trying to stay focused on what it is I know. That's why it's easy to remember these things.
Yeah.
Because I don't garble it up with a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
I don't read fiction. About these things. I just refuse to do that. I refuse to go to movies that have bad galactic politics, that are that are into bumming people out about making up terrible things about ETs and stuff, like they're here to eat you and all that stuff. You don't want to poison your mind with that. I don't go to vampire movies or werewolf movies or disembowelment movies. I stay away from those kind of things.
You're not a Twilight guy?
No. Well, no. So there's lots of information about this now, and there's this extremely interesting phenomenon that has started, as you know. That back in 2017, December 17th of 2017, you have the front page story in the New York Times that Leslie Kean and Blumenthal wrote, exposing the existence of a top secret program inside the Pentagon engaged in professionally investigating the UFO phenomenon. Okay, and they reveal that, and they had some things a little missed in that report.
Like what?
Yeah, like for example, that they thought ATIP, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, was a lot more formalized than it really was. But Lou goes at some length here. Is in
your client, Lou Elizondo.
Lou Elizondo has written this book. It's for the last 3 weeks has been the #1 bestseller on the New York Times bestseller list. That he goes into detail now about how ATIP kind of evolved out of OSAP, the Advanced Weapons Special Access Program, and how he was doing this kind of informally, and et cetera. But so he's clarified all of that in his book.
We had him in here for episode 237.
Right.
It was a very fascinating conversation. I think we're trying to do another one in November because there was a lot still on the bone there. One of the things that I think, and I want Lou to talk about this in November just so he can kind of once and for all make it clear. But one of the things I think that's confused people in the past with how he's explained it, because again, there was a lot of moving parts here.
Yes.
Is that he's said things like, oh, I wasn't a part of OSAP, because it seems like he's making the assumption that OSAP, when he was first being read into this stuff in 07 or 08, OSAP was transferring into what became ATIP. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode.
Yep. All right. So, pretty much, you guys heard. Where exactly they have the alien bases underground and who they have down there. They pretty much have already deployed humans, soldiers, down there to pretty much monitor the activity and talk to these guys. So think about that. That was a UFO lawyer that they call him. Pretty much a lawyer for these beings and somewhat an intermediate for the humans and these beings here. This is the thing. They already have the technology of the real thing that is here. They already have the knowledge from the actual beings that are here. The reptilians are pretty much controlling what is going on underneath. They just aren't telling you that. They just are not telling you. It's downright despicable how they just keep the information from. Now, furthermore, here's the crazy part, right? If I'm going to look at Guadalupe Island, if I'm going to look at Guadalupe on the map, right? And I bring it out. You see this huge body of ocean that is right here? Of where it is? The North Atlantic Ocean, ironically. The crazy thing is, right? See how close it is to here? Now look. Baja, California, and the Gulf of California is right here. Just on the other side. Now look at this big body of water here, right? And then look at these little tiny islands that are in it. You can't tell me that they are not planning something. We're not even planning something that they don't have shit underneath these bodies of water. I'm telling y'all. Around these bodies of water, there's definitely something underneath. Furthermore, if we go just a little bit further down, and I'll bring it out a little bit. Do you see how big Antarctica is? This is what I mean by, I would like to know, what are you hiding in Antarctica? I want to know what you're hiding in Antarctica, in these stations. What's on the Black Island? What's there? Reason why I want to know. This is the biggest reason why I want to know what's going on in Antarctica. They said there's a crashed ship there. They've already showed us a crashed ship many times. The pyramids buried underneath in Antarctica. This is Antarctica. This is all Antarctica. This is all Antarctica. See if they still have that picture of the alien ship that I showed you guys. Oh, here it is. The alien ship that was buried in Antarctica. Again. What are they hiding in Antarctica? Why are they not telling us about there? Why are they purposely hiding what's going on there? Look at this. I'm telling you. There's if we're only tipping the tip of the iceberg with things. Only the tip of the iceberg with things, y'all. The shit that is in Antarctica, that's what I want to know, yo. What are you guys hiding in Antarctica? Because there was a TikToker that got, was it the Nephilim? It was in the, I forgot the I forgot what it was called, the Central Park or something like that. Nephilim Midnight. They said there were giants walking through. It's a giant inside of this, in an iceberg in Antarctica. One day we will know what's really underneath that ice. One day we will learn. One day we will truly learn. Because Antarctica is pretty damn big, y'all. That's the thing. Antarctica is fucking huge. It's huge, yo. Let me see what those stations at that I saw. Ooh, where the stations? 'Cause they had little stations that were planned around here, and I just looked at the names. I was like, "This, look, these all like biblical names almost." You see, McMurdo Station. I don't know, y'all. Yeah, I'll tell me. Like I said, I understand that they trying to censor me, so I definitely understand. Definitely on phones and computers. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. So, another thing I might as well whistleblow on. Like I said, I'm going there. FEMA concentration camps. That's the 7th classification that I don't think he even noticed. So, I mean, you can kind of say the execution center would be the FEMA concentration camps, right? So, FEMA concentration camps exist in the mind of a particularly loopy bunch of conspiracy theorists who believe that mass intermittent facilities have been built across the continental United States by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, in preparation for a future declaration of martial law. The camps allegedly come complete with barbed wire fences straight out of World War II, boxcars for moving people around, and plastic coffins for burying them. Now, why does America think that? Why does America think that? Maybe because we have many different forms of it already being built. Maybe because we already have them being built. And no one's saying anything. They have them being built in preparation. I mean, there are some states already in agreement to martial law. You mean to tell me they're not? The diagram of likely locations already. Oakland, California. Vandelberg, AFB, California. Fort, what does that say? Hakashua. I don't know if I'm saying that. Arizona. Then you have Arkansas. Fort McCoy in Wisconsin. Fort Drummond, New York. Indiantown, Pennsylvania. Fort A.P. Hill, Virginia. Fort Benning, Georgia. The Air Force Base in Florida. In Miami, Florida. Interesting enough. GTA 6 is about, I think, Miami, Florida mainly, right? Isn't this something, though? Let's see this here.
Research on FEMA concentration camps
Sorry for the
in the United States of America. I did a study on Rex 84. That's REX 84. You can go to Google and do a search on that. What was surprising to me was the amount of concentration camps we've already have in the United States.
Oh, look who comes up. FEMA when you put in RX 84. Ironically. Oh, there's just the map again. Okay. It pretty much just pulls up the map. Oh, there it goes. That's what I was looking for. Oh, this is where we go. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 10 of them, pretty much. It's going to be 10 of them in those specific locations. This is what they plan pretty much. And this is where they're going to be holding everybody that pretty much doesn't want to go with the New World Order. That's what's going to be happening right here. New Eyes, what's going on? This is pretty much what's going to be going on when you don't comply with the New World Order and you don't take the RFID chip. You don't take this little guy here. Now look at this. They already be selling it. Wholesale RFID implant microchip. Look at that. RFID chip, tag, glass, transponder for animal injection. They already put them in animals. Got a computer chip implanted in my hand. Here's how it went. Look at this. This is a LinkedIn article. Everything you need to know before getting an RFID implant. This is 2022. What if you could open your front door or unlock your car just by raising your hand? Never having to trouble yourself with your COVID pass or remembering where you put your wallet. What about sending your LinkedIn profile or a dancing monkey gif to a phone just by holding it? Look how they advertising it, y'all. Look at this. It's a whole ad. And what about turning on a coffee machine by pointing to it? This is not the future anymore. Wannabe cyborgs with little RFID chips under their skins are living with us. Thousands of people have implanted the tiny devices already under their skin to be able to have simpler access to buildings or other people's phones. Do you want to join the cyborg community? Here's what you should know about the RFID chip before you implant it in your body.
Hi, this is Dr. Bertalan Mescu, the medical futurist, and today I want to talk about RFID chips and whether or not it's a good idea to implant one.
So you have something else that's really interesting in the newsletter about people in Sweden putting implants, microchips, right,
Yes.
into them. We've seen something like this here. There was a company that
In Wisconsin,
right,
yeah.
so they could get stuff out of the vending machine with these microchips. So what's happening in Sweden?
In the past couple of years, Sweden has seen a growing number of people getting microchips implanted under their skin. It was once a very niche thing among the most dedicated biohackers, but now it's becoming mainstream in the tech-savvy and open-minded Scandinavian nation. And I'm a proud geek, so I wanted to get one too. RFID technology has been around for a long time. It is a tag or a label that can exchange data with a reader through radio frequency, or RF, hence the name. There are thousands of applications for it. We use them in our credit cards, we tag our luggage with it, and we implant our pets with it, so they always carry contact information in case they get lost. It's a simple but wonderful technology. What's new is that now we can implant it in our body too. I asked my community if anyone has done it, and Erik Orlovsky, a Swedish anthropologist, came through, so I asked him what his experience was like.
Hi, my name is Eric, and I recently returned from my 3 months thesis fieldwork in Sweden, researching microchips, and now I'm here to answer a few questions about them. About popularity, I think it's important to understand that there's only about 5,000 people in Sweden with an implant, and out of a population of 10 million, so they're relatively popular but not super widespread. Much of the relative popularity, I think, stems from Sweden being a very tech-optimistic culture. So there's this willingness to try out new technologies without necessarily being worried about kind of the big risks or the kind of big things that could go wrong. I have a chip. I got it right here about 3 months ago when I started my research. And I got it for the same reason that I think many other people I've spoken to have gotten one, and it's curiosity. Obviously, where it stems from is different depending on the individual. And in my case, it stemmed directly from my involvement in the research.
So curiosity and tech optimism are what you need with a little openness? It's like he's describing me. I went online to order an RFID chip from one of the most popular online resellers. They are called Dangerous Things. No red flags whatsoever. And in 2 weeks, they delivered this package. As you open the box, you can tell right away that this is not a toy. They immediately warn you not to meddle with anything to keep it all clean and sterile. But what we do have here is one Next implant, one Vivo-key implant, 2 injectors, 2 pair of procedure gloves, 4 antiseptic wipes, 2 gauze pads for post-injection care, and bandages. Despite their ominous name, Dangerous Things takes the procedure very seriously, and so should you. This is a small operation. Can you imagine that there is no surgical protocol for the injection of these things? And while technically a piercer could do the job, it's highly recommended to do it with a surgeon. And Dangerous Things does help you with this, as on their website they show you professionally trained partners who are equipped to implant these chips. But what I think is really going to make a difference in terms of chip implants going mainstream is how easy it's going to be to set them up. So I asked the founder from Dangerous Things about what to expect.
You know, the older implants, like the Next that use the Integ 216, you do have to program those with data that you want to either share or tell it to redirect somebody to a website or something like that. It's a process of getting an app on your phone or using software on your computer and programming it and kind of managing that way. Vivo-key products are meant to be plug and play. So you just load the app and follow the instructions, and then you can change the behavior of the chip. When other people scan it, you just change that behavior in the app. So if you want it to go to a URL or share your Vivo-key profile information, you just set that configuration change in the app and it's done. Beyond that, for Vivo-key, you know, when you want to, for example, like let's say you want to integrate Vivo-key authentication into a WordPress blog or a discourse forum or something like that, you load the plugin, you configure it, And then from that point on, you can use the Vivo key instead of a username and password. So you would just go to the blog or WordPress or whatever, say I want to log in with Vivo key, you get a little notification on your phone, you scan your chip, and then you're logged in.
Seems fairly easy. With one of those things, you have the option to customize it more, and with the other, it's as simple as it gets for the basic applications. And at this point, I really had to Google what it's like when they inject it.
I want you to take a nice big deep breath in and exhale, release. There we go.
It's in there.
It's in there. Pretty quick and easy.
It's not too bad, right? Apparently it feels like a bee sting, a really big bee sting. And just like that, in a few seconds, you can be part of a yet small group whose members are technically cyborgs. And since I'm a huge fan of science fiction, I find this pretty exciting. But as a physician, I wanted to know more before I was about to commit to a medical procedure altering my body, right? So I prepared a few questions for my surgeon friend, Dr. Zsolt Varga.
Besides the ethical and privacy-related concerns, RFID implants are thought to be medically safe. Millions of pets are already tagged this way, but it must be noted that no long-term large population data for human use is available at the moment. In my opinion, it should be carried out in a clean environment, in aseptic circumstances, preferable by someone with anatomical knowledge and experience in performing basic medical procedures. The full recovery can take up to 4 weeks, but it does not interfere with any daily activities. Medical risks of any other implants are presented, like wound complications, tissue infections, allergic reactions, or post-procedural pain. Latest studies have shown that cancer caused by RFID chips is virtually non-existent in humans and negligible for animals. The removal is a bit more complicated than the insertion. After marking the implant site, local anesthetics should be given, and the device can be removed through a small skin incision. That could be closed either by sutures or other sutureless wound closure methods. I suggest that the removal should be performed by a medical professional.
With all these pieces of information, I thought the rewards outweighed the risks. At least for me. With this chip, I could operate doors, unlock my phone, or even carry my boarding pass at airports. It's awesome. I just needed to get the all-go from my wife as we discuss every body-altering technology that I plan to use. Honey, I want to implant myself with a... So that happened. There are my dreams of becoming a cyborg. Apparently my wife sees a different risk-to-reward ratio. As all RFID chips are hackable, depending on what kind of information I store on my chip, hackers could get access to it. For example, as I said, I could have my phone password right here and unlock it with a wave of my hand, or have all my medical records right here with me at all times. But do I really want to have that information exposed like that? I'm not comfortable with the fact that hackers could access it fairly easily. Another problem is the limitations this technology has right now. It can have a widespread application. You can program a chip for a lot of things, but one chip can only do one thing. And even though the next implant from Dangerous Things has 2 chips in the physical space of 1, it's still not a lot. And even though these chips are passive, meaning they have no internal source of energy and you don't have to change batteries, in case you do want to remove them, as my surgeon friend described, it's way more trouble than implanting them. It requires an actual surgery. So as of now, my RFID enthusiasm is put to rest. The plan is that I'm gonna wait for the tech to catch up with my vision for the future. Because I believe in a few years, chip implants will have better security, bigger capacity, and more customization. We are going to have multiple applications in a single chip. And we're gonna see universal standards for digital identification systems and finally surgical protocols for implantation. And further down the line is when it's going to get really exciting, when these things are going to have sensors that will be able to track vital signs to keep our health in check all the time. And with better security, they could revolutionize medical care. Instead of medical data being stored at various hospitals, my GP's office, and at the pharmacy, I could have the chance to establish my own healthcare identity and become the steward of my own data. And imagine all that in a medical emergency situation. The first responders arrive and they only have to scan your hand to get to know every valuable medical information about you. They can spare crucial minutes and really focus on your care. That's when these chips are really going to start changing lives. And that's when I'm going to pitch this idea to my wife again. Because then the rewards of this thing will truly worth the trouble. Until then, patience. If you like this episode and would like to hear more about body augmentations and real-life cyborgs, click on the link here or subscribe here.
Yikes. 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 You hear it, ladies and gentlemen? You can get your very own, step right up and get your RFID chip implanted in your hand. And you heard it takes a lot more, takes a lot more extensive surgery and care to get it out than put it in, right? Notice how they say that? It's a lot more harder to get it out than put it in. That's what she said. But it's this RFID chip, man. The mark of the beast. This is what they want everybody to have. This is what they want everybody to have at the end of the day. Gotta have that RFID chip if you want to get into the new world religion. You got to have this already. You got to have it already. If you don't, I'm sorry, you got to go the other way. You got to go over there. You got to go to that guard to take you to the camp. The camp over there in Fort McBride. Yeah, the camp over there. Walk right there with that guy at. Or you want to step right up and get your RFID chip? Okay. Sign your name on the dotted line. Oop, I didn't mean to pluck some blood from you. This is what's going to happen, y'all. That's what I said. Some of us going to get it. Some of y'all not. I shall not. It's not me. Need that. I'm okay. I'm cool. SpongeBob said, I am my head out. I'm cool. I don't need that. I don't need to be scanning nobody's phone with my telepathy. I don't need to be scanning nobody's phone opening my door with my hand and nothing like that. I can turn the knob and do that shit. This is laziness now. That's the thing. They are pre-programming the human being to be lazy. That's why another reason why I hate these goddamn iPhones. Another reason why I hate the iPhones. They pre-program you to be lazy as shit. Cause you so used to speed. You so used to that's what they said about me and my daddy. We want tomorrow today. We want tomorrow today. Don't be in a rush. Enjoy. But with these RFID chips, you can start your car by waking up and saying, yo, vroom, nod your head to the right. That's what they pretty much advertising. In Sweden, thousands of people already have it. Apparently, this is not just Sweden. Apparently, this is getting global. This is from 2022, this article. We talking about almost 3 years in. I'm sure it's more than thousands that have it now. With an advertisement like that. I'm sure way more than thousands have it. Be clear. It's different. Medusa, what's going on? Zanab Najari, what's going on? Cut Kanda, what's going on? Who else stepped in the building? Who else stepped in the building? Just making sure I catch everybody as they come in the door. But yeah, man, it's different out here now. It's different out here. You didn't get any notifications? I apologize. They don't like a brother at YouTube. As you hear why, they don't like me. they don't like me. I know why, but they don't like me. It's okay. Because I'm still Clip Style. I'm still Mr. Clip Style. Speaking of which, we might as well get into some fun now. I thought Neuralink was the mark of the beast. They both are. They're the same thing. They're the same thing. There's still chips in you. Look at this. There are different forms of this chip. There are different forms of this chip, my brother. There's many different forms of this chip here. Look at this. There's different forms of this chip. Not that chip, of course, but there's different forms of this chip. I don't even know what languages this is in AliExpress, but apparently they're selling it. This is on Alibaba for 47 cents. Go to AliExpress for one. $52. Here you go. Amazon got you. Yeah, Amazon got you. You can clip your dog with one. They were just telling you about that now. You can get your dog one. Oop. Yeah. There you go. It's messed up out here, man. It's messed up out here. Look at that. You got the scanner just to see if the damn chip is there. Look at that. Damn shame. Damn shame what they doing to dogs already. Even worse what they doing to us. Even worse what they doing to us. 1,300 plus microchip implants. Stock photos. I can't believe it. So many different people have done it already. Here goes the ad again. What's this? Ow. Look at this. Look at this, y'all. More than 3,000 people have inserted now. More than 3,000 people have inserted now. This is just 6 years ago. Forget 2022. Unique identifier that always carries you. There's no risk that you'll lose it. And while some are praising its convenience, Others are worried about the risk of infection and question what data and who is able to use it. Unbelievable. There's an example of it. They can keep an eye on you. I'm not scared right now because I don't think our current technology is good enough to hack a chip. Yes, it is. A microchipping just can. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. This is insane. This is a whole city. And this is, oh my goodness, this is the city of Sweden right here.
But now there's a whole new sort of evolution going on. I'm here to meet some of the thousands of people in the country who are adapting their own bodies, who are in
blood clot. Blood clot. I'm not even going to do it because I know how YouTube going to get me. That's how YouTube going to get me right there. But whew, we're going to watch this one on Twitch one day. We're going to watch that one on Twitch. I'm going to tell you right now. Yeah, we're going to watch that one on Twitch because I'm not even going to. I ain't going to hold you. I know how YouTube going to try to do me on that. So that's how they're going to get me. I'm going to say that one for the Twitch. Uncensored. Because Ross Clyde, they really are getting people. They really are getting people. I can't believe it. I can't believe it, y'all. I'm shocked. I'm shocked at how many people done got it. I thought it was like maybe 2-3 people in the world. I ain't know it was a whole civilization. Excuse me. Listen, I ain't know it was a whole civilization that had it. That just blew my mind. That blew my mind. An entire civilization that has this. I'm perplexed.